Hey, what's going on, Dan? You already know it's the NFL Weekly Pick'em Show. It's Thursday. It's 6 o'clock, and it is another week, brother. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. Besides the Giants losing another game to a much better team in the 49ers, I'm pretty good. Got to
Dan,
get
I
to
wish
two
we
and
could
two
just
this week, hopefully.
yeah, I wish we could just skip in last week entirely from what happened to both of our teams last week, brother.
Hey, I'd rather get our ass kicked than lose the way you guys did. So
Hey, well, Dan, if you look at the win column, it's still an L. It doesn't say how you lost the game. It's an L, right?
a loss is a loss, a win is a win. I don't care how it happens. You know what I'm
But
saying?
you know what? As a fan, I'll take that on the chin because we just got our ass handled big time from the Arizona Cardinals, brother.
They outworked you guys. They seemed like the more physical team to me. You agree with that in
No,
this
I
game?
agree with. I think it was execution from the coaching staff, and even on the defensive side, a lot of people made excuses missing 3-0
Yeah.
linemen, starters. But
hmm
you know what? Next man up, man. You got to solve the problem there. You got to
Yeah.
compensate for what you have. And the way they ran that offense, Dan, it was just it looked lackadaisical to put it in easier terms. You know what I
You're
mean?
talking about Dallas's offense, correct?
Yeah, yeah. It was
Do,
lackadaisical. They
do you
weren't throwing the
think
ball right.
that? Do you think that since their offensive coordinator is different, they have to refine an identity a little bit, slightly, not
You
like
know,
entirely.
you know what, Dan? It's funny that you mentioned that real quick before we get to the picks here. On the 215 show last night, I did mention it. I said, I didn't like Kellen Moore because he was an innovative OC. He did a lot of different plays, put him in positions to win.
Yeah,
The problem was Dak wasn't throwing the ball last year under that offense. A lot of picks. But this year, I look at it, at least Kellen Moore in the red zone, Dan. As you know, three
he was
touchdowns in the
good.
red zone this year and 11 tries. That is bullcrap. 3 out of
What
11 in
was
the
it
red
last
zone.
year? Did you know what it was after 3 weeks last year?
Well, they were scoring pretty good in the offseason last
They're
year. I
good
mean, in the
in the
regular
red
season,
zone.
yeah. But the thing is, with Mike McCarthy, he's not putting these players in positions. Dan, last year we went 3 to 4
hmm
tight ends, 13 personnel, 12 personnel on goal
Yep.
lines. Now it's just like, you know what? No fullback, just let Pollard run no matter what. That's not the way to beat these teams, Dan. You gotta either play a red zone threat with a big guy in the wide receiver,
Yep.
or you go physical ball. It's one in the trenches, Dan. Especially missing three O linemen, you had to go double tight end, Dan. He didn't do that.
Yeah, I think that had something to do with it. That old line's fully healthy,
Mhm.
typically they have a little easier time. But that's what I mean. I'd rather have a fullback. I'd
Yeah,
rather, it just seems like they're having a problem scoring in the red zone, which is interesting. And Kellen Moore was really, really good at that. Like last year when we played you guys twice,
hmm
I watched Cowboys going like, oh, they're going to score a touchdown. When they got inside 10, they were probably scoring.
right.
That's how good efficient their red zone offense was
Yeah, I,
last
I
season.
mean, I don't see. I think it's an identity problem right now. McCarthy's a
Yep,
different play call than Kellen Moore. It's an identity
absolutely.
thing. I'm not
Yep.
jumping, off the rails here yet,
No,
but
no.
it,
Two
it
and
needs
one,
to be an identity. You're an
right?
identity change right now.
So
Yeah,
your record's still good. So, but it's going to take a bit with the new OC, different, someone else called plays to just get
agreed, 100%.
acclimated and get gelled fully entirely.
Agreed, 100%. Yeah, I
Yep.
mean, well, last week, Dan, listen, week three, week one, I was ahead 8-11. Week two was 12-13. I was up +1 on you. This week we actually tied, Dan.
That's interesting. I think we had some different picks too.
We did. We did. It kind of leveled itself out a little bit. Like I
Yep.
couldn't. I was looking at. It, I was like, wow, wait a minute. We disagreed on a couple, but
Our week one was awful. Just
yeah,
like in other
week
leagues in Pick'ems, it was awful.
well, week one was like preseason, Dan.
Exactly. It's like who knows? Like you throw out that week one, it's like I'm like, oh, just a preseason game. It's a real game, but they know there's 16 left and there's plenty of time in 16 to make it up. But not if you're 0-3 or 0-4.
Hey, well, Dan, listen. Week one, if you remember correctly, I picked the damn Giants to beat the Cowboys. How would that work out in week one? You know what I mean?
I thought they were due, and I thought the Giants played well versus them
Mhm.
in the second game, even though they lost. And I thought it would at least be close, even if they lost.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, week one, Dan, it's just so hard to comment, like think about what's going to happen because
Yeah,
it's an extension of preseason.
yeah. I
Especially my
want to
Cowboys
say
didn't play any preseason at all, Dan.
exactly. Yeah, I just
Yep,
want to say, for us, I thought the Giants, the versus 49, I thought the defense held up as long as they could. They,
exactly, exactly.
at a certain point, that game was 17-12,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it was 20-12, and they were in that game. And I think they had a little bit better performance. Their offense was awful,
Mhm.
but their their defense kept him in that game through 3 quarters or so.
hmm
And that from my team, we'll get to the picks. That I just like what I saw, just some stuff.
Okay.
So
Well,
that's
I mean, right now, Dan, it's week three here. We're moving into week four. I have a 4 point lead from you, but hey,
yep,
you know what? There's a long way to go in this season, Dan. I mean, a
yes, there
long way to
is
go here. Another 13
absolutely.
weeks until we can crown a championship between you and I. That bragging rights there. But anything can happen, man. 4 games here, that could be jumped up in 1 week. Real quick, Bubba says, Paul, my Pats are going to kill your Cowboys this week in my dreams. We'll talk about that game, Bubba.
Wouldn't surprise me if they lost, but I think they'll win the game.
I think they will win the game, but I'm not going to count out Yoda, Mr. Belichick with a defense. You get him a week prepared.
Yep.
What scares me the most, Dan, is the Cardinals put a blueprint of how to stop the Cowboys in a way. And Belichick gets that film. You already know Sunday night he was in his house already prioritizing how to stop this, Dak Prescott game.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
So that's scary to me. That is really scary when you give Belichick time, especially coming off a loss, Dan. So we will talk about that. But Dan, you know what? Let's talk about our picks here. I did an overlay real quick. Our picks are already on here. We'll go game by game here. Let's go to tonight's game, Dan, starting in about another hour, about 2 hours away from here. Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers here. We already have our picks up there, Dan, so we have it out there so people can see. We usually keep it to the very end, but we'll do it this way. This way we can tell why we picked that team. Why are we going Detroit tonight?
I think Detroit just looks better than Green Bay does at this point. Green Bay had to go first week 1. They look a little shit. I just think Detroit's playing better football right now, and they seem like the better team. They have the more experienced quarterback, and I think they're going to win this game, even though it's in Green Bay.
I went with Detroit too. I like Jared Goff. He has the weapons. Amon St. Brown is just insane right now. The running game, they're starting to get the running game clicking. And I know on defense they're still missing, C.J. Johnson in the secondary, but this offense can score, man. And I don't believe in the Packers right now. I'm still not a fan of Jordan Love. The only weapon he has is Christian Watson, and he hasn't been playing that well either. He's still trying to get that groove from his injury.
Yeah, they had a real good week 1 Green Bay, but the last 2 haven't been as solid for them.
And the week 1 they didn't have Christian Watson, and this week they do have. Last week they had him. They didn't look as great as week 1 without Christian Watson. So it's a learning thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
A couple more comments here, real quick. We're going game by game with Bubba. I think the Packers will upset. That is something a lot of the. It's
Maybe.
weird on DraftKings. They're only a -1 right now, Dan.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that the spread is close. But if I'm just picking the team to win the game, I think Detroit's going to win the game.
Gotcha. Eileen says the Packers are good at home. Yeah, they're different at Lambeau. There's something about them at Lambeau.
There is something about Atlanta, but it's also not January.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, home field advantage in January.
I just think cold. Detroit's playing better football right now. That's the reason I'm picking them.
He has that as the upset of the week there. Okay. I don't know if that's going to be. I guess it is a -1. You can call it that.
I guess it's an upset because they don't have Aaron Rodgers.
True.
And it's in Green Bay, but I don't think the Packers are that far off from Detroit. But they have a new quarterback in Jordan Love. They're all
very true. Yeah.
Detroit's offense is better.
I agree. I'm gonna go Detroit here. I think Detroit wins this game probably by about 3 to 7 point advantage here. I mean, I think
it'll be less than 10.
Okay.
But I think Detroit will win.
Gotcha. So we're great on the first game here. We didn't disagree on a lot this week, Dan. But let's go to the next game here. Let's talk about the Jaguars coming off a massive loss last week to the damn Texans versus the Atlanta Falcons here. We both took the Jaguars here. Why are we saying a rebounding game here?
I think it's a rebound game. I also think the Jags have more talent than the Falcons do. And I think they're better coached as well. And I think they'll be looking to be motivated to bounce back after a bad game last week.
I agree the same way. The way the Jags played last week, I lost that game. We both lost that game last week, Dan.
I thought they would win. They got killed, man.
I don't get it. The one thing I do want to say about this game real quick, Dan, this game is actually going to be presented in Andy's room. Did you see that?
What do you mean?
They're going to do a Disney character as the game is going on. They're going to have all the players.
Oh, they did that with hockey once.
I want to see this.
All animated and stuff.
Yeah, how'd that look?
Yeah.
Did it look cool?
It was pretty cool. It was interesting. It's more for kids, but it's definitely interesting.
Hey, I grew up in Toy Story, Andy's, everything with Andy, and I can't wait to see this. Zurg, Toy, Buzz Lightyear, Jesse. I want to see this.
Yeah.
All right. So I think the Jaguars here rebound here. I mean, what we've seen last week, and especially when you have, Doug Peterson as a coach, he ain't going to let that happen twice, especially this team here.
Definitely not.
Let's see. Eileen say yes on Sunday morning. Yeah, I can't wait for that. I'm a kid at heart. I can't wait for that game as well. I want to see it too. Exactly. I want to see it. Eileen says Toy Story animation. I want to see. Yes, I can't wait. With Pixar does something, it gets pretty cool.
With football, it's cooler, I think, than hockey.
Okay, well, my thing is are they all going to dress up like Buzz Lightyear? What are they going to do here?
I don't know. I'm gonna guess they're gonna be different characters from the film
I can
on
pretty
each
much okay.
team.
Buzz, Woody,
There's,
Jesse,
there's
Slink,
only
you know,
so
all
many.
those.
Well, there's
Maybe they'll
four.
dress
There's
the
like
other guys
four of
up like
them, right?
yeah. Well, I guess so, right? Slink, you know, Mister Potato Head, his wife, I guess too.
But
There's
maybe
so
they'll
many
have some of the
characters.
actual human characters in it as well.
Probably Andy. You can see Andy maybe on the sideline calling the plays or something like that. You know,
Yeah,
his room or
that's what
whatever.
I'm guessing.
I hope so. I can't wait to see it. Now that game's at 10 o'clock though, isn't it? I think that's 10 in
It's
the morning. It's
well
over at
with
Steve's.
Nickelodeon, they do like the slime in the end zone and like all that stuff when you score. Like
That's gonna be crazy.
you've seen the game when they show the game on Nickelodeon.
Oh yeah, the slime. I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had the double dare that's the coolest thing. I used to watch
You
that show
know,
all the time. I
I
like
used to
when they
watch that
do
with my
stuff like
kids,
that.
and I wanted to go on that show so bad. I was like, "Come on, guys, let's
It's
try to
one
get
of
on
my
that
favorite
show."
shows as a kid.
It was, yeah, definitely was. All right, so we're you know we agree here so far, Dan. We're on the agreement here so far. It's agreement night tonight, but let's
For the
talk
most
about the
part.
Cincinnati Bengals here. You know, Joe Burrow's not 100%. Tennessee Titans still trying to find an identity, Dan. I mean, why are we taking the Bengals here?
I think that I mean they are a talented team, and
Yeah.
I think even though Burrow's not 100%, they got to win a football game. I just don't see him going 0-4.
You know, Bill.
I didn't know who to pick in this game though, because Tennessee, you don't know who you're going to get. You know, you're going to get
Exactly.
the tail that's really good, or you're going to get the tail that's really bad. You know, Burrow, like it's not 100%, and the Bengals just stumble out of the gate. They go 0-4. They're in big time trouble even now.
I mean, you think about that division.
They'll
I
be
mean,
motivated.
Pittsburgh's playing. Yeah, Pittsburgh's playing now. They're starting to find an identity as well. They're
Yep.
managing the game with Pickett. The defense is insane. You
Yep.
know, the Ravens. It's hit or miss with the Ravens. You don't know, which we'll get into that team. But
I never
yeah,
picked
0
that game
4 with the
either.
Bengals. That's a huge hole to climb out of, Dan.
0-3 is a huge hole to climb out. Just 0-3 is a huge hole to climb out of. 0-4,
Huge,
you're
huge.
basically done.
Mm-hmm.
Most
Bubba
teams
says,
don't make the playoffs.
yeah, Bubba says Nickelodeon is not what it used to be. I know you watched a lot of these shows back when we grew up, you know,
What
and
about
it
like
is
the
not the same.
90s?
Tell me about it. Yes.
Like
Mhm.
early 90s, mid
I think
90s,
I
late
think
90s.
the host of Nickelodeon Double Dare was Andy Summers, I think it was, or something like that.
Yeah, something
That
like
guy.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. We're showing our age, Dan. We are really showing our age tonight, brother.
Yeah.
You know. All right. Well, we both picked the Bengals here. I don't think they go 0-4. I think this is a rebound game
I
for
think they'll be
them.
motivated also. I think,
Exactly.
you know,
Let's
you're
go here.
0-3,
I
you're
mean,
going to be desperate.
Dan, in a way, I wanted to disagree on you this game here, Arizona versus San Francisco. I don't know, you know, after last week, what Arizona did to my team. I don't know what the hell to believe here, but I'm not stupid. I got to keep my lead on you. I am going Niners, exactly as you said.
I think the Niners just look really good right now. They look good. They look good on defense. They look good on offense, pretty much. And they, you know, I just think they're a better team. I think they're going to win this game.
I
They
agree
just
with
look
that.
they just look good so far the whole season so far. All three
Exactly.
games they look pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
and they look better than Dallas does overall, especially
Yeah, I
on
mean,
offense.
week to week, they look like the superior team last week on all
I
phases
know
of the game.
Samuel did not practice, but he's probably going to play.
Mhm.
Ayuk was limited, so you know they got it. They got to get a couple of those guys because without Samuel, it's different. But I still think they're going to win the game.
I agree. I agree too. I mean, there's too many weapons, and Shanahan's type coach will put layers in positions to win with that motion. It's going to be so hard for the
And
defense.
Purdy is efficient. It's
Exactly.
more
He
efficient than
managed the
Dak, to
game.
be
Yeah,
honest.
exactly. 100%. Stacey's calling us old men here, Dan. I don't know what that's about, but you know.
Yeah, I don't look old, but I got some gray.
Yeah, I got some gray too. But look, you know, Stacey, I think we grew up together, so I don't want to call you old, but I'm just going to leave it there. You know what I mean? Like I known you, Stacey, for damn four decades, and that's telling you something, you know. So hey, all right, Dan. So far we agree here. Now, Dan, this week here, I mean, this team dropped 70 damn points last week. The Miami Dolphins.
Yep.
Buffalo. I'm going Buffalo here at home. I think this is a make it right game because I can't see Tua going back to back the way he played. Buffalo's strong. You can't knock Buffalo right now. Why did you take Miami?
Because their offense looks really good. I think they're going to win the game in a shootout. It's going to be like 38-35. They're both going to score a lot of points.
You're thinking it's going to be a shootout, huh?
Yeah.
You know, what scares me is last week they dropped 70, and they didn't have Waddle last week either.
And they have Waddle this week?
Exactly. He is playing this week. He is active this week.
I'm just saying, their offense, Miami's going to have a chance to win this game at a couple of points in the second half, I think, because their offense will keep them in every single game this season, probably, unless Tua makes mistakes. But they look really dangerous.
That's
Really,
true.
really dangerous.
Very
The Bills
true.
are good. I agree.
Right.
But Miami's tough to deal with, man. Like, their offense is really good.
I mean, Dan, when was the last time you go to the greatest show on turf with the Rams back in the
It's like
day?
that. That's what
And
this offense
this is
looks
even
like.
well. This is even scarier. I mean, your wide receivers. You got to conduct. Tyreek Hill. You got Waddle, who didn't play last week, and the two running backs, Mostert and Achane, are nasty.
However you say his name, they are both really good. Mostert is fast, like
Yes.
and Achane, I don't know much about him, but he looked great. I mean, they just look really good overall.
And Dan, the funny thing is, I did the college show on Wednesday night. We were talking about this. Coming from Texas last year, they had Bijan Robinson as the biggest back ever coming out of college in many years. Achane is actually outperforming him.
Well, the way Miami uses him in that offense, they use him the right way.
Exactly.
And he's just sometimes that's just the way. Is also they have more talent than the Falcons have, probably overall.
I mean, you look at the Falcons' last, really majority name recognition picks. You look at Kyle Pitts; they're not even using him correctly right now. They're not even
Kyle
using
Pitts would be my number one guy there. Like, he'd be my number one target, to be honest.
Exactly. I mean, you start the team with Kyle Pitts there. You get a running game. Let's use these two foundation players. They're not even using him right now.
Well, and I just heard Kelsey. I don't understand.
Exactly. And I just heard a rumor that Pitts wants out of there already, and teams are actually deciding to try to go for him. Dallas is a rumor that Dallas is actually putting a package in for Kyle Pitts right now.
I don't think they really need him, but
I don't either.
But I think that if I was Pitts, as good as he is, as talented as he is, he should get targeted a lot, and he doesn't.
I agree 100%. So we got a little shootout here. This is our first disagreement of the week, Dan. You're taking the Miami Dolphins. I'm taking Buffalo at home. So there's our first disagreement. But, Dan, let's go to the next game here. Now, the Saints and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, why did you take the Saints here? I mean, I think this is a toss-up game for me as well.
I wasn't sure who to pick, but I think the Saints are gonna beat them at home.
Well, I'm hearing Derek Carr's not playing.
Well,
Jameis Winston.
They lost Winston last year.
Exactly.
They looked good when he was playing, and then they were horrible the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Winston's good enough to beat them. I think Baker Mayfield looks horrible.
I think so too. I mean, the Tampa Bay's defense is not legit. They're not elite, in any category.
The Saints still have a talented defense.
They do. If they can keep this game close and keep Baker, onto the sidelines making mistakes. Jameis Winston likes to air the ball out. We've seen that before. He doesn't like the short pass. He likes the deep ball. And with these wide receivers that they have, their speed. So I think the Saints will win this game. I really do.
Yeah, don't the Saints have like a young rookie or a young wide receiver?
Yes, the little scat back wide receiver. I forgot his name is Johnson or something like that.
Keon. Follow them.
Yeah, Keon, something like that. But this kid I seen on a go route where Derek Carr, it was on the sidelines, Dan. They came off of a play, and he looked at him. He's like, just throw the ball. I'll get it. You ain't going to overthrow me. And next play, next set, touchdown, like an 80-yard bomb. So this kid's quick. Quick, man. Not Tyreek Hill speed, but he's got the speed, Dan. Yep. All right, so Dan, here we are. We agree again, but now we go into another game here. The Rams, who I don't know what the hell they are, versus the Colts, who can't keep their quarterback healthy. Why did you take the Colts?
Richardson's still out?
I don't know. He's questionable is what they're saying.
I think he'll
concussion protocol.
I think, Thursday? He's got to just get out of protocol and he would play. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know who to pick. The Rams just look bad.
I agree with you. I didn't know who to pick with this one either, Dan. I
had no idea who to pick, to be honest. Who's the Colts backup again?
What's that?
Who's the Colts backup?
Who is their backup? Minshew. Gardner Minshew.
With Minshew, I think he's good enough for them to he'll play well enough for them to win the game. The Rams, I just don't. I just don't know what they are. I don't trust them.
Mm-hmm.
It's at Indy. I
just looked at it here, Dan. Okay, this is what I say about the Colts injuries today. Anthony Richardson, concussion protocol, practiced fully again today, so he's out of question. He's out of protocol.
If he practiced fully, he's playing. Then I think the Colts will win.
All right, so you're taking the Colts. I'm still going to go Rams here because to me, Dan, Richardson has not played a 4-quarter game yet. Okay. And I
Yeah,
can just
no, I
see Aaron
got you.
Donald laying him out somehow where he's going to have another injury. I don't want to see that, but I think this defensive front line for the Rams get to a rookie QB because he likes to run, Dan, and I don't think the lanes are going to be there for him this week.
He does like to run,
Hmm.
but the Rams also don't look very good offensively either.
Isn't it funny that their number one wide receiver, Puka, is almost like third in the league with receiving yards this year?
Yeah, yeah, he's probably getting targeted the most. I mean, who else they
He
have? They
is
don't
too.
have
He is.
Cup
Yeah.
is still out, right?
What's that? Coop?
It's
Cup?
Cup.
Yeah, exactly. That's
So
I don't know. I didn't know who to pick with this game, but I'm going to go
I
with the
have no
Rams here
idea.
because I believe in Stafford a little bit. Maybe he can get the ball
More
downfield. And the other thing
experience.
is, yeah, more experience as well. And I think Richardson has to play a full game for me to order to, think about him a little bit more in a game situation. But
We'll see if
that's
he
our,
smartened up a bit.
yeah,
Time
exactly.
will
He has
tell.
to. I mean, he has to learn to slide, Dan, throw the ball away, and live another day and just run out of bounds. He has to learn that.
Exactly.
He
Yep.
has to learn it. He
And
has to learn
protect
it.
yourself.
You look at Jalen Hurts this year; he's not running the ball as much. He's learning like, hey, it's a 17-week season. I can't go down week 1, 2, and 3. It's going to kill my team. So
Yep.
I'm gonna get out of bounds or not run anymore. But let's go next week, Dan. Okay, the team that got spanked 77 points here, the Denver Broncos. We don't know what the hell they are against. I don't know if this guy's a quarterback, Justin Fields. Why are we taking the Bears here?
Because the Denver's horrible. Their defense is horrible. They can't score. Like they are just not a very good team right now, and I think it's tough to play in Chicago, even though Chicago's not that good.
Hmm.
But they got some talented players on offense. But Fields, you don't know what to expect from him. Sometimes he'll have a good game. But a lot of times he has no time. Their
Very
offensive line
true. Yeah,
sucks.
exactly. Exactly. This is one of the games where I go from last week, Dan, and I say, okay, well, speed kills the Denver Broncos here. Justin Fields has the speed to get out of the pocket. He
So
can
does Moore.
scramble. It's his game. He can run the ball on him.
Mm-hmm.
So I took the Bears here. Like this is a game where you know what? I don't even care if this game's on. I'm probably not going to watch a
I
minute of this
don't
game,
give a
honestly.
crap about this game at all.
Exactly. I'm going to go Bears here. I'm going to get the advantage of Justin Fields here because just like you said, the Denver Broncos suck. Okay,
Oh,
suck,
absolutely.
suck. Do you think Sean Payton's second guessing this coming back, Dan?
Maybe. But Denver's a mess, man. Denver is an absolute disaster right now.
And Dan, it's not going to get any better because you still remember they're paying for Russell Wilson still in the next 2 years of
They're
drafting, Dan.
paying his cap hits like 50 million or something. It's something crazy. It
And
doesn't go down for like a couple of years.
right, and they're stuck with him because nobody's going to buy him out.
They are
Nobody's going to
stuck.
take
Yep.
that contract. That cap hit is going to blow the bank away where you're paying 3 or 4 players versus his one. But the draft picks, Dan, you have no draft picks in the first round the next 2 years for Russell Wilson.
Exactly. They kind of screwed themselves.
And Seattle's laughing about it because they hit the bank, and Jigba Smith this year and the linebacker that they have too. So they're in cloud 9 right now with 2 more picks coming from the Broncos for Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on here, Dan. We're halfway through here. Let's get to the Pittsburgh Steelers with the nasty defense last week versus, man, I don't know, Texans. They did win last week, Dan. They beat the Jags. So
They did win last week, but I don't think they're better than Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's finally starting, like you said, to find their identity,
mm-hmm.
and they have a really good defense. I think they're going to be all over Stroud.
I think so too. I think this is going to be a rookie hazing day for him. I think that Watt's going to get to him fast, off the edges here. And I'm not sold on Texans. I know they won last week, but hey, just like Dallas had, everybody has a bad week, Dan, and we've seen it from the Jags last week versus the Texans. So
Yep.
I'm definitely going to go Pittsburgh here. Of course, I think the defense prevails. As long as Pickett doesn't turn the ball over with stupid mistakes, Pittsburgh has this game in the bag.
No, I think Watt's going to have like 3 sacks this team again.
I think you will.
He's like ridiculously so good, man.
Dan, I was watching that game last week, a late game, sitting there watching it, and I tell you, it's like T.J. Watt has a snap count in his head where he knows the cadence so good. His off the ball speed is insane, Dan. Insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep. Now this week here, Dan. This is a division game coming up here. The Washington Commanders run down I-95 and go to the link this week to play the 3-0 Eagles here. Dan, we both took the Eagles here. I know why, but Is there any way that these Commanders can pull this out?
I think they could pull it out, but in Philadelphia, I
Mhm.
think that I think they'll beat Washington. Washington doesn't look very. They looked all right early on, but last week they got crushed. I think.
Gotcha. I understand.
Like I just think the Eagles are the better team right now. But it's possible. I think Washington can win the game, but I think the Eagles will win this week.
I think
I think
so. I
as it
think
goes on, they'll get better and better as the season goes on.
yeah, I think the Eagles will win here. There's too many weapons. I mean, if you want to stop the pass, you got DeAndre Swift the way he's playing right now. You want to
Yep.
stop the run. Hey, you got Devontae Smith. You got AJ Brown. You got Dallas Goddard in the running tight end there. They're deep, and that guy Pacheco from St. Joe's Prep as well, the wide receiver as well. They're strong. They're strong.
Yep.
And I think experience kicks in here, and then you got to deal with Jalen Hurts too. I mean, if he wants to run, he can run too. Too many weapons, Dan. Too many weapons right now. And the way the Commanders are playing, I don't know what they are. 1 week good, 1 week bad. I haven't seen enough yet, honestly. Now, Bubba, you're Broncos country? Let's ride. Are you going with the Denver Broncos here? Is that what you're doing? Tell me that can't be right. Tell me that can't be right. You're going with Denver here. You're the lone wolf in that one, Bubba. But yeah, we both agree on the Eagles here. Now, Dan, this next game, man, I don't know. I mean, of course, I'm going to go with my heart here and what I see.
I almost picked the Patriots.
Did you really?
Almost.
Okay, that's what. He's just making fun of Russell Wilson with Broncos country. Okay, I remember that. Yes,
it's in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dallas will be motivated to have a good game, and they're going to get some of their offensive linemen back.
Well, Tyron Smith is questionable. Zach Martin is questionable as well. Tyler Baez is out. The center is out so far, what I read.
Questionable sometimes still means playing. Did they practice this week?
The
tackle and the guard?
Zach did practice limited today, LMP.
If he practices limited, I think they'll play. But I think Dallas will win this game. I think their defense will be all over Jones.
You know what? I tell you, they have to flip the switch on this one because the way they
Parson
looked last
needs
week.
to go off in this game.
Well, the funny thing is, Parson has been going off, Dan. I mean, it's the other players around him. Like I was telling Dave on the show, our Cowboy show, I was on our post game. I got a different broadcast than you guys get. I get a totally different broadcast that I watch. Different view. Mm-hmm. And the one play where Dak threw the pick in the end zone, Michael Gallup. I even said this on the show. I was like, Michael Gallup was
wide.
He was over there in the corner eating a hot dog and even put some ketchup on the damn
wide
thing,
open.
eating it.
Wide open.
This is what we talk about with Dak not reading progressions. We see that.
It's like a DJ. That's a Daniel Jones type thing.
Exactly.
He does that.
Staring down your one receiver, not looking anywhere else. And that's what he does. Exactly. In the triple coverage, Dan. Didn't even see the linebacker, put it that way.
Nope.
And this game scares me, Dan, as we talked on, backstage real quick. This scares me because you give Belichick an entire week and the blueprint has been set. What they're good at, it's Yoda.
Well, here's
Yoda's
the thing.
Defense.
Don't go for it on fourth down. Mm-hmm. Don't leave points off the board. Because if Parker had 6 more points, they'd be able to, in principle, win the game instead.
Yeah, I understand. The first one I agree with, going on fourth down, make a statement right, from the jump there. I agree with that one there.
Take the points.
But the thing is, Dan, we can't score in the red zone here. 11 trips to the red zone in the season so far, and 3 TDs. Okay,
that's not
bad.
Good enough.
That's not good. At least give me a 50%. At least give me 50% touchdown versus that.
And they're 2-1.
Exactly. So just imagine if the red zone could score, Dan. Okay.
Well, imagine you didn't play the Giants and the Jets week 1 and 2. Not to say they're not better or would win, but imagine you played like you had to play the 49ers like we did week 2.
Dan, last week we were 2-4 in the red zone. It was 50% with a pick. With a pick, Dan.
It's a little better in that game compared to the full season, but 3 is not enough in the season.
It's definitely not. It's
You're
definitely
fortunate,
not.
Kicked our ass, but you should be 1 and 2 easily.
Definitely, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So we're both going to take the Cowboys here. I mean, I think this is a rewrite the ship game for the Cowboys. It's going to be, Dan Quinn was in that locker room, with the word execute, and Mike McCarthy, he needs to get his head out of his ass and start calling some better plays here. Put the players in a better position, and you got to work fundamentally with Dak. I can't. $40 million a year. I need more, Dan.
Same with Jones. He's getting $40 million a year. You need to see more. You can't be missing those open reads. Gallup is a main target, in my opinion. So
Well, in your opinion, is Danny Jones looking down a progression tree? Is he looking at other wide receivers, or does he stare down?
well, it's not that he stares down. He's not pulling the trigger like
Well, at
when
least
he
your
needs
quarterback. Well,
to.
Dan, at least your quarterback looks at the progression tree. Mine just looks one wide receiver, and that's it. Triple coverage, you don't care. You know.
Yeah, but also it depends when you look at him. You have to know what his progressions are. Like what's his first option, what's his second and third, so when you can break down his play. If you
Sure.
don't know, then you don't know what you're talking about because people will post stuff, the all 22 view, like way up high,
Mm-hmm.
and that's totally different. That's not what DJ sees. So, but it's the same thing for Jones. It's pulling the trigger. He sees it, but he
Yeah.
feels like he's under such a duress that he's not comfortable back there.
Sometimes you need that gunslinger mentality, going like a Brett Favre. You need that gunslinger
Just need to
mentality
be
just to throw the
aggressive.
ball.
Pull the
Exactly.
trigger.
You can live by it, you can die by it. When you need the points, take the shot. Hey, why not? You know what I
Well,
mean?
in
But
the Dallas game, Hodger was wide open down the left sideline when they threw that pick six. When he threw it
yeah,
to Barkley,
hmm
he was wide open and he didn't throw it. He saw him, but he didn't throw it.
agreed. All right, so we're both going to take Dallas here. Okay, let's go to the next week here. We got the Minnesota Vikings and the
Yep.
Carolina Panthers here. Now, Andy Dalton, I believe, is starting this week.
Dalton's pretty solid.
He is. But why are we
Dalton-
taking the Vikings?
I think they're a better football team, and they're facing a rookie quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I just think Minnesota is a better team than they are.
Now that
I
Carolina
know they're going to be able to
defense is
stop
pretty good.
Justin Jefferson,
That Carolina defense is pretty good, though, Dan.
maybe.
They're
But how's their
solid.
offense going to be? Their
That's
defense
what I
going to
mean.
stuck on the field. I just think Minnesota's going to win the football game. I think they're the better team.
I agree. I went with Minnesota here. I think they're more fundamentally sound. I think Frazier's going to have that defense a little bit better against this, Andy Dalton. They've seen him before quite a few times as well.
Yes,
So
they have.
mhm. Now, Bubba says something's telling me Panthers. I do. Like, this was a coin flip to me. This was one of the games where
Maybe it's anybody could win this game. To be
exactly.
honest. But I think the Vikings will
I went with Minnesota here. Giving Kirk Cousins over with the weapons, Justin Jefferson, of course. Madison in the backfield. So I give the credit to them, but
And you never know with a rookie quarterback. You never know.
Exactly.
He's going to have a good game. He's going to have a bad game. I really don't know what he's going to be.
Yeah, I went with Vikings here. I think the Vikings hold this one here. I think they do win it. I'm just not sold on Carolina right now. I'm really not. So we both agreed there, Dan. Now let's go to our last four games here. The Raiders versus the I score, but I can't play defense. Chargers here. What do you think about this one, Dan?
I think the Chargers will score a lot of points, but the Raiders can't score a lot of points.
Now Jimmy G, I think, is out this week.
Yeah, that's not good.
So they have that rookie quarterback coming. I forgot what his name is, but
What's his name? I forget what his name is, but a rookie, his first game.
yes,
The Chargers defense does suck,
Yes.
but there's
Mhm.
no way. I see no way Raiders are scoring 20 in this game.
And that's the thing. The Chargers can put up some points, Dan. They can put up points, and I don't think this rookie QB, which I'm looking at his name is now. Okay, now here's the choices. Garoppolo's questionable. He's most likely going to be out. You have Brian Hoyer or Aiden O'Connell. That's the guy that Ken Fry likes.
Oh, I
the
don't
show
even
here.
know where he I forget where he went.
I don't even know where he went, honestly. I don't even remember his name. I know Ken Fry was talking about him as pretty good. He went to Purdue, actually.
Purdue, that's it.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yep, that's it.
I mean, you played in the big. There you go. Thank you, Eileen. Thank you so much, Eileen.
Well, he's still a rookie. He's never started in the NFL ever.
Yeah, I mean, he did play a great preseason. I was watching a couple games there too. He played some great
Maybe,
preseason games, but you're going against the 2s and 3s, and they're 53 man roster. The 53 is trying to make the team there, Dan.
And the Chargers are home. I think the Chargers will win this game. I think it'll be like 35-17 or something.
Hoyer is actually Brian Hoyer is actually one of the backups for the Raiders right now on their depth chart. So I don't know. I mean, I don't believe in the Raiders here. I think they're too drawn out of players. I think the Chargers put up so many points, and you got a quarterback that's not afraid to take chances, Dan, in Justin
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Maurice checks in. Thanks for checking in, Maurice. He says Eagles Commanders game is going to be big. Maurice, what's your score? I know you're an Eagles fan, but what is your score? Is it a blowout?
It's a
Close?
big game for division. Absolutely.
All I'm hoping, Dan, is there a way we can come up with a tie? Maybe.
I would love a tie, but I doubt it's going to happen.
But you know what? A lot of fans get okay, it's a tie,
I would love a tie.
But you know what, Dan?
It hurts you.
A tie can actually help you. It can actually help you.
It helped us.
Yeah, damn. Do we really need to say that?
That's
Yes,
why I made the
exactly.
playoffs. It's better than a loss, even though maybe we got a little lucky with a no call.
Exactly.
But
Now,
any divisional game is going to be huge. Like the Giants' next divisional game is going to
mhm.
be gigantic, and I think it might be Dallas. I'm
Now
not sure.
here's a great comment here. Mike Williams is already out. Okay, is this going to affect Justin Herbert as being a weapon that they're going to use?
He's still going to be. I don't think it's going to change his mentality or change their game.
I don't think
Even if
so either.
Williams is out, they still have Eckler, right? They
Yeah,
still
they. I
have.
mean, they have Austin Eckler running back. Okay, they have Keenan Allen, and I think it's Jordan Palmer. And Dan, we know from TCU, Quentin Johnston. That can.
Oh, they have Quentin Johnson. He'll just take his place then.
I agree. I agree. I don't think they're going to miss a
I
beat.
don't think it's going to affect their offense. Yeah, maybe if it's like a favorite target of his, but I think Herbert's good enough to overcome that.
And
They have
he's the
other
one.
weapons.
He's the type of quarterback. I love a quarterback that doesn't care what your name is on your back. There, he's going. If you're open, he's going to get you the ball, and that's Justin Herbert. We talked about taking chances.
Yep.
This is one of the quarterback will look downfield and he'll take that deep shot. He don't care who it is. If you're open, I don't. They are going to miss a beat, but I don't think they miss a huge beat with that one, honestly.
If they, yeah, like I said, I think they'll be okay.
Yes, it's Jaron Stidham. He went to the Raiders, to the Broncos. That's what it was. Yep, Jaron Stidham. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Maurice now he gives the comment 28-24. So he has that Eagles game a little bit closer than a lot of people think about.
It might be a game like that. Those games tend to be close.
Hey, I think it was the Commanders last year that ruined the perfect season going into at what 6-0, 7-0, or something like that, or 11, whatever the hell it was for the Eagles. So anything is possible.
I don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to sink right now because they got absolutely demolished last week? I don't know how they're thinking. They come out and play and have a good effort and maybe win.
But I think it is, Dan. I think it's a learning experience too because you got Bieniemy. It was a totally different verbiage coming from Kansas City. He loves the motion, and it's hard for a rookie quarterback, Sam Howell, to understand this motion offense where he played in college, and it was just
it's his second year, I thought. But
he started one game last year against Dallas. The last game of the season.
It's a brand new offensive scheme, so it's like being a rookie, similar, I guess.
You're getting a new OC. 2 years in the league, you had one OC. Now you're with with Bieniemy this year. It's hard to learn. It's still a learning curve, but this would be the game to get it right for us, Dan, as Cowboys and Giants fan here. Help us out here. Take them down to 3-1. So we need the help too. So I think the Chargers win this game, Dan. I think it's a pretty handily convincing. I don't believe in the Raiders right now. I think they're still.
Yeah, I don't know what they are. I just don't see them scoring a lot of points in this game.
Exactly. Now, we both agree on that one. Now, we do have a disagreement here, Dan. The Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens.
It's a toss-up almost.
I went with Cleveland. Why did you go Baltimore?
Cleveland lost Chubb. Who's their backup?
Kareem Hunt, who knows the system.
When's the last time he played?
I don't care. He's playing this week.
I'm
just giving him the benefit because he knows the system. He knows the purpose.
The Browns have a good pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
The defense isn't bad. I think the Ravens are going to win a close game. I think the Browns sometimes look good on offense. Sometimes they don't.
All right. The reason why I took the Browns here is just like you said, the defense. Defense prevails. Close games, defense can win you games. I'm not sold on Lamar Jackson. I know he's the highest dude paid out there, but Dan, when you take a quarterback's legs away, you got to beat him through the air. And what I've seen from Lamar Jackson, he can't make the right decisions. Dan, he wants to run the ball. He doesn't look for the weapons outside, and I just don't believe it. You can make him beat you, but I don't think he has the. I don't want to say the I don't know the brain power to beat a team yet with his arm. I really don't.
Well, I don't know if it's what Harbaugh wants to do because they've never really been.
Eileen says Kareem Hunt's already limited with the injuries. Wow. Well, you know what?
The Browns can't run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good for them. I think that's. I know they have Kareem Hunt,
right?
But Chubb is way better than he is, and Kareem Hunt's not in football condition necessarily.
Exactly.
So if he's limited, he's going to be limited in the game, maybe. I think the run game is important. I think.
I mean, it could be also that he's just trying to get his feet wet, coming back from that, being out so long, Dan, too. That maybe that's what it is too.
Also, Lamar Jackson could go off in a game sometimes. Sometimes you can have one of those games where he goes off and looks bad the next week, and he hasn't had one of those yet.
I agree 100%. I'm just going to go with, based on defensive here. I'm going to go. I'm going to have to go with the Browns here. That's our other disagreement here. So I
Yep.
think it's going to be a close game. It's one of those toss-up games
It
where
will be close, I
you know,
think, like less than 20.
I think so too. I was looking at
17.
I was looking at the DraftKings today, and that game I think was at 43 points. Dan, total for.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like 20, 20 to 23, 20.
To me, this is a game where whoever scores 20 points wins the game. Put it that way.
I think so. Yes, I think
I
so.
agree
No,
with that.
no
Yeah.
way they're getting close to 30 either of them.
But hell, you know what? In the NFL, anything can happen. Who thought 70
Of
was going to be
course.
dropped last week?
But their games are usually like that. The Browns and the Ravens.
Agree.
When the Browns have been better.
Exactly. Yeah. And the other thing is, I'm not sold on their offense because I don't believe in Deshaun Watson right now. I mean, it's just, hey,
I don't know, man.
it is what it is. All right, well, let's go. I know Eileen's watching here. Is Eileen going to be the lone wolf taking the Jets this week over the Kansas City Chiefs? Dan, we both got Kansas City here. Why are we taking the Chiefs, Dan?
Because they're a better team, top to bottom on both sides of the ball.
Agree.
And Chris Jones is going to wreak havoc on that offensive line, I think.
Dan,
I do think that the Jets can keep it close, but are they going to score points?
You can't score with a quarterback that, in
Zach I don't Wilson. Mean the entire game. It could be something like it's close in the second half and then get blown out in the second, like that.
True. Very true.
Your offense is bad.
Yeah. I mean, you're seeing Aaron Rodgers making this call out, on his little comments saying this offense needs to take ownership and take pride to be better. And even Robert Saleh said,
who is it? Because Hackett doesn't seem like he knows what the hell he wants to call now.
That's what I mean. They have no identity. I mean, Dan, I understand. I understand you go from Aaron Rodgers' playbook, which is unlimited, page 1 to 100, and you go to Zach Wilson, but you got to flow to what your quarterback can do. You've had Wilson for 3 years already,
what
right?
He prefers. There are certain types of throws and stuff he's better at than Rodgers is. Mm-hmm. Not that he's Rodgers, but there's certain stuff that he's better at than others. You want to put him in position, they have to rework the entire offense. They almost have to. You have to suit it to what Wilson's more comfortable doing, and not Rodgers. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what he's doing.
I agree. Marie says this is week 4. This is when you see who teams really are. Right. I mean, week 1, 2, 3.
For some, I agree.
Some, yes, not all.
For
not
some,
all.
But like certain teams, especially certain teams, what they are on one side of the ball, mm-hmm. right? You don't know what they are on the other side of the ball.
Perfect example. Let's talk to Cowboys. We know what they are on defense, elite defense, but offense, are we a running team with Pollard? Or can we trust Dak and throw the ball 30 or 40 times a game downfield? We don't know yet. I don't
want him throwing the ball 30 to 40 times a game. So I want throwing the ball under 30 times a game.
I want him between 25 and 30, manage the game, take shots where they're limited. I want to see more play action, take shots downfield to keep the defense honest. When you do that, otherwise you can put the extra guys in the box then and control Pollard out of the game. That's what I'm seeing,
Yeah, like Detroit. I know what their offense is. I don't know what their defense is.
Eileen says you're taking the Chiefs because of Taylor Swift. You know what? In sort of ways, I am, because I tell you what, Dan. I looked at this. Are we Swifties now? The funny thing is, I don't know any Taylor Swift songs. Okay, I really don't. I might be out of the loop here, but
I know some of her first couple of songs. There's a song
only one I know is "Shake It, Shake It, Shake It" or something.
That I do like is actually a good song, but it's more of her different style. It's not like that song.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I'm not a Swiftie, but the funny thing is, Jason Kelce has the top jersey seller right now, up 400% in the NFL right now, just because of Taylor Swift. The Swifties, when they talk, Dan, when Taylor Swift says I'm representing this, it means gold out there. So hey. You know what? I think
care less.
I think the Chiefs get an extra 7 points from Kelce here because Taylor Swift's in the crowd. So I think I'm going to give the Chiefs an advantage 7-0 automatically before the game starts.
Yeah, but the Chiefs are one of the best teams in the NFL, and the Jets are not. Their defense is good, but their offense, they got no quarterback again.
Yep.
What's up, Ken?
Speaking of Raiders fans, there's Ken Fry. You can check him out Saturday nights on the Silver and Black Lair. He's given us a comment here. Now, tonight's game, he's talking about the Lions 24-13, which we both see that as well. I think it's going to be a good game. I think the Packers at home, a little bit of advantage there, but I think the Lions have too much weapons there. So I do like that score, 24-13. Eileen checks in and says, the Jets prices are insane. I did see that. My friend actually lives up there, and he was telling me that he was thinking about selling his tickets, Dan, because he's almost doubled right now. And he has 30-yard line. I think it's maybe row like 40-something off the field. And he said he might make some bank by selling these tickets.
Yeah, but the Jets are at home Sunday night.
What's that?
The Jets are home, but why?
The Jets are home.
For some reason, the Jets and the Giants are home the same week. It never used to be that way. It was always the opposites.
Well, I mean, it is a Monday night, so that crew can get in there for the Monday night.
Been like that. It was like that last week too. It was like that week one. We were both home Sunday night.
You're right. Yeah, because I did see the crew out there working like 24/7 to get everything situated for them. But
for some reason the Jets messed up the field. I don't know. They stepped on paint or something because it looked all messed up. And I was like, do the Jets paint theirs and the Giants don't paint theirs?
Well, the way they played in week one. Well, the Jets did win in week one, though. You know what I mean?
Hey. They did week one. We got killed, but the logo, it was pouring rain, and that logo didn't deteriorate or nothing, so it wasn't painted on. And someone said the end zone in the Jets looked weird, and the logo looked weird because it said someone stepped in the paint and walked all over it or some crap.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. I didn't even notice that.
The end zone had like a white. It almost looked like white stuff everywhere in the end zone. It was weird. It didn't look like the Giants. It didn't look like that. It was cleaner.
Gotcha. Before we get out, we got one more game real quick. Your game on Monday night. Who do you guys think the defense will be the defensive team in the NFC East? Who do you guys think
best defensive team?
I guess the best defensive team right now. Who do you think is in the NFC East?
Dallas.
I agree. I think so too. I think last week was
Eagles have some injuries right now, and they're a little weak, like in the middle.
Yeah, their linebacker and safety play is a little bit suspicious right now.
And I think the Eagles are going to have to depend on their pass rush a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the Cowboys lost Diggs, I still think their coverage and pass rush is. I just think they look better right now.
Okay.
But they're both going to be solid.
I agree.
But the Eagles have to do a little more adjusting now because they lost some really like Gardner Johnson was great for them last year.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So I think right now it's Dallas, but like I said, we're only going into week 4 here.
Exactly. This is where you find out, just like Amari said, this is when you find out who's real and what the identity of teams are.
For Dallas, yeah. For the Eagles, yes.
Mm-hmm.
The 49ers, I know what they are.
Exactly.
Like certain teams, you just know what they are right now.
Of course, yeah. Mm-hmm. Eileen says they painted it and it seemed like they didn't let it even dry. The rain had it muddy footprints everywhere. Oh, okay, I didn't even see that actually.
I don't think the Giants paint theirs. I think it's actual it's a section of turf.
Okay, gotcha.
Because it was pouring rain
mm-hmm.
week 1, and the logo was fine the whole time.
Gotcha.
And the end zone was fine the whole time.
All right, well, let's get into the last game here, Dan, because we do have another show where we can start talking some real shit in about 15 minutes here, on our teams here. But let's get into this here, Dan. This is a disagreement here, okay? I don't know why you took the Giants over the Seattle Seahawks here. What is the conclusion here, Dan? What am I missing?
Because I think the Giants are going to play a better game this game. I think Thomas is going to play. Barkley's limited.
Mm-hmm.
He might play. So if Andrew Thomas plays, I think they're just going to play a better game this game. I know Seattle is good, but they don't look as strong out of the gate as they did last year.
Okay.
I think the Giants at home, the last. They looked horrible the last time they were home. So they're going to want to play a good game in primetime in front of their fans. I think they're going to be motivated.
Okay, I'm going to go Seattle here. I mean, I've seen the weapons.
I know why. I get why. The Giants' offensive line looks bad.
Mm-hmm.
Their offense looks out of sync. If Barkley plays and Thomas plays, I think they have a real shot to win. If they don't, then Seattle's probably going to win. But like I said, I was almost picked Seattle, but I picked against my Giants last week. I'm going to pick them this week.
Okay.
I just think they're going to put in a better performance compared to week 1.
All right, I think Seattle's just going to score too much, and I don't think that offense from especially if Barkley's out, it's a limited offense right now with Barkley being out. Exactly. If he's out, or even limited.
So
even if he's limited, he's not going to play the full game because he is going to be on a snap count coming with that injury, of course. So I'm going to give the advantage here to the Seahawks. Their weapons are insane. And I think they can, if they can put up the points and Geno can be on point,
Yep.
I think it'll be a long night for that Giants defense. So I'm going to go with them.
And the difference is the difference last year was 2 fumbles.
True.
That was the difference in the game.
Very
so
true.
it's not like they got blown out by them. That was the difference.
Mm-hmm. Marie says, I've seen the Giants go 0-8 and still win in the Super Bowl. That wild card year, you get into the dance, man. Anybody can be, homecoming king, right?
Well, they lost their first 2 games in 2007. They gave up like 80 points.
Mm-hmm.
They won the Super Bowl that year.
Agree. All right, so Dan, this week, hey, we're pretty close. We have 4 disagreements here. Our disagreements are: you're taking Miami, I'm taking Buffalo. Mm-hmm. I'm taking the Rams, you're taking the Colts. We both disagree on you're taking the Ravens, I'm taking the Browns, and of course I'm taking the Seahawks on Monday night versus your beloved New York Giants, Dan.
Yeah, like the Seahawks, the Ravens, Browns, anybody can win that game.
Agree.
Like the same with even the Lions and Packers.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Colts and Rams. I don't know who's going to win that game. I just picked the Colts because the Rams don't look very good. I mean, some games are toss-ups.
Exactly. Sure. These are toss-up games where you can just flip the coin in whatever way you want to go. Just, hopefully I pan out this week. I do have a 4-point lead on you, but man, if those 4 games pan out for you, we're tied up dead. We're deadlocked.
As long as I got a few of them. As long as I catch up little by little, it's fine.
Exactly. It's a 17-week season, Dan. We all know that. Yep. So it's anybody's game, We'll see in, 14 weeks from now, we'll see on our last show who holds the trophy here, who holds the bragging rights for the season. We'll go from there. But, Dan, hey, listen, we got another show coming up in about 7 minutes here, the NFC East Roundtable. Myself for the Cowboys, you're with the Giants. Of course, we have Zach Harris from 980 Fox Sports joining for the Eagles. And, of course, we have Steve Lotman, who does the Commanders Gridiron, hopping on for the Commanders here. So, Dan, you ready to get out here so we can go start some shit?
Absolutely. I don't know if I have too much shit to talk right now about my team, but
yeah, I hope it's pretty quiet.
But at least we didn't lose to the Cardinals.
Hey, Dan, I'll make you a deal. How about we do this? My team shit the bed. Your team shit the bed last week. How about we? I
expect them to lose.
How about we do a treaty here, and I help you out, you help me out for some backing, okay? Because we both sucked. All right.
All right, man.
All right, so Dan, you ready to get out of here, brother?
Absolutely, man.
All right, for myself, Paul Spencer, and Dan Connor, we'll be back next week with the NFL Pick'em Show, weekly every Thursday at 6 p.m. So, guys, until next week, we'll see you here. Good luck to all your teams out there, and we'll see you next week.
Take care, everyone.